Hello everybody and welcome. I think this video is going to go up on my channel. I'm pretty sure I'm going to put it up and not just send it around privately. So welcome one and all. Thank you for clicking and watching. Here we go. The title will tell you that I just had my 50th birthday. Born in 1969, the year of legends according to this t-shirt. And Yeah, I my birthday was yesterday, July 6th. It was a Saturday, and but today is July 7th, and I waited to today to make this video because it feels like now it's July 6th in America, and I was obviously born in America, and I grew up in America, even though I now live in Japan, and so I feel like now, I'm getting all my sort of, all, I say all, the few birthday messages I get from some family and friends on Facebook, etc., are coming in now today because I live in the future. Um, yeah, so I just wanted to make a quick video about turning 50 and something that occurred to me the other day when I was at work, that is kind of an interesting observation about being an adult foreign person in a country where you're not really fluent in the language and you have a job that you go to every day, Monday through Friday, but you don't necessarily have like friends from that job. And I'll talk about. I don't want this to sound like I'm some really sad, lonely person. I'm really not. Um, I have a very fun life. Yesterday I went to the movies and I got to see the new Spider-Man movie. And I buy kinds of all kind of crazy things. And I give them away to my students as prizes and whatnot. And of course, today in my life on my other channel is the start of sumo. So I will be very busy for the next 2 weeks. If you don't know my sumo channel, I'll put a link down in the description and you can go check it out. The new Nagoya Basho, the Nagoya tournament, starts today and runs for 2 weeks, from the 7th of July to the 21st. So I tape sumo every day and put it up on a different channel, and it's very popular, way more popular than this channel you're watching now. But what occurred to me the other day is that I live alone, hence the man cave. I can do this kind of decorating because I don't have a significant other that would tell me not to do it. And so I come home every day from work and I have no one to talk to, right? I can talk to myself. Jason, don't do that. Jason, what are we having for dinner? But I don't really have anyone to chat with. Because of the time difference with America, I don't often chat with the people that I know in America. We keep up with each other via Facebook and the normal kind of social media, but I don't often call. It's 17-hour difference between here and my home state of California. I do try to reach out and call my dad, but he doesn't even have a phone in his retirement home in his room, so I have to wait until my sister visits him and etc. So that can get just lining up schedules and stuff. And it's like 6 a.m. here when it's 2 p.m. there, and yada yada. So you get that. And so I do have an online community of Twitter people and Facebook people. Obviously, most of them I've never met, but we're buddies and we chat about things, especially sumo. And I get a lot of nice feedback from my sumo channel and stuff. But day to day, I don't really have many people to talk to. I don't really have any friends. I moved to a new city in 2016 to start a new job, which I absolutely love, my job. And I don't speak Japanese well. I get by and I'm fine, but I don't really feel like I can have good, sustained conversations with Japanese people, and that's on me. That's my phobia. Probably I could do better than I think I can if I tried. I'm not outdoorsy. So it's not like I'm going to join a gym or a bicycle club or a hiking club or anything like that. So anyway, this all comes down to me trying to say, I basically get to talk to people other than, the grocery store clerk or the McDonald's drive-through window person. I get to talk to people when I'm at work. So working in a Japanese office environment, it can be strange too. I don't often chat with my Japanese coworkers. They don't really talk to me ever. No Japanese person is really going to come up and make small talk with you. A, they're just too busy. and B, they, then do they speak to you in Japanese? Do they speak to you in English? The one exception is the principal of my school is a really nice guy, and he knows I love sumo. So we often end up just walking out to the parking lot together at 5 o'clock when we get off work. Sometimes we'll leave at the same time, and he'll just look over and say, "Oh, so what's the next tournament happening? Oh, so which wrestler is doing well?" Or something. And we'll chit chat about sumo a little bit. Most teachers don't know anything about sumo, so there's no real like, "Oh, Jason, did you see the match yesterday?" I don't have anyone to talk to that. Now there are foreign coworkers at my school, but they all have lives outside of school, just like I do. I rush home to do sumo for 2 weeks and stuff, and we don't sit next to each other necessarily, and we're all busy, So I get that. We don't really, I don't really sit around and chat. We don't eat lunch together or anything. I just eat at my desk, or sometimes I go out. So all of that is a way, is a prelude of saying that the main people I talk to, and I do talk to them every day, are my students. So let me talk to you about my students. So what I think you'll find if you come here to teach, especially in my situation where I teach at a special school, it's a private school, it's a junior high and a senior high combined, so it's grade 7 through grade 12, and it's a smaller school, so you tend to get to know the students. And my students that I teach primarily all speak English well. They can definitely hold a conversation in English, and we don't usually use Japanese. I can sometimes, but for the most part, we chat like I would chat with students if I taught in America, with them in English. Not all of them, but the majority of them. Because they're doing the International Baccalaureate program, by the time they get to high school, they're joining the IB program for the most part and trying to get this special degree where they have to study all their classes in English. So they take my history class in English, science in English, math in English, English in English. They do have Japanese, of course, and then they do PE and some other things in Japanese. But for the most part, they speak English, and a lot of them do it very, very well, near native fluency on some of them. So I realize that the main people I talk to every week, and I'm so thankful for that, is my students. So I just wanted to kind of just do a time capsule of this moment in my life when I turned 50 years old and I'm working at this job, and the people that mean a lot to me, because they are the ones that I get up and go to work for every day. And they do talk to me. They are interested in my life, and they're students. They have a million things going on, especially the high school ones. The IB program is very rigorous. The 12th graders especially have a million. They have a community service project. They have an extended essay, tests coming up. They have just life, figuring out where they want to go to college. Everything is hitting them. And so, I try my best. It's, when you're a teacher, there's different tacks you can take. You can try to be the friendly teacher. You can try to be the stern teacher. You can try to, luckily, I don't really have disciplinary problems. I don't really have to be the bad guy or the angry guy most of the time. And because my students, especially in the high school, don't really get a grade, they're preparing for this ultimate task of passing these tests. There's no detention. I don't have to threaten them. They procrastinate, and they don't turn things in on time. And I'll joke with them and say, okay, you've got to sing the school song now in front of everyone, or do jumping jacks, or I'll paint your fingernails orange or something. But for the most part, I have really good kids, and I'm so thankful for that. And they're very eager to learn. They're invested in it. Not all of them love history, of course. That's my subject, history, social studies at the junior high level, and history in 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. So I'm going to talk to you about the 10th, 11th, and 12th graders because they're the ones I've known the longest. And I realize that, I've taught at the school for 3 years, and this is my fourth year now. I'm in my fourth year. And so all of these students that I'm going to talk about today were in junior high school when I met them. And now, some of them are about to graduate. They're 17. Some of them are even turning 18 years old. So I've watched them grow up a little bit. And then, of course, the 10th graders now were 7th graders when I started my job. And so by the time they graduate, I hope to still be at the school in a few years. And I will have seen them go through all 6 years of the school and been their teacher pretty much every year of that time. I'm the only history teacher, social studies teacher, a foreign teacher. There's obviously Japanese social studies teachers at the school. So if they they have to pretty much take my class. They have no choice. So I'm kind of more on the friendly teacher side, I think. I like to joke around with them. We often play a warm-up game just to kind of get them in the mind space of English. And we play weird stuff on my iPad. I download apps and we do fun things. And I'm that kind of teacher. I'm not like, let's open our books, get to studying type of guy most of the time. But I feel like I get the job done. And I'm hoping I get good results. Come on, 12th graders, get good scores on your tests when they take their big tests in a few months. I think it's in November. All right, so I'm going to start with the 12th graders, and I'll go down to the 10th graders. The 12th graders are the ones that will graduate soon. And the thing you'll notice when I talk about these three different classes that I have is that there's only one boy in each class, and that. There's a number of reasons. Girls tend to like English more than boys in Japan. All kinds of other things. You can't really be serious about a sport in high school and also do the IB. So if you're really into baseball or really into soccer or some other thing, that wouldn't jive because you just don't have time. Because the demands of a sport here are extraordinary. There's no season. They go year round. So you tend to get more girls than boys anyway, and it just so happens that the way it shakes out in all these classes is just one boy. So the one boy in 12th grade is Braden, and Braden is a really cool guy. We talk a lot about American comics. We both love DC Comics, as you can see back there. Is there any DC stuff up there? Maybe not. There's Spider-Verse, that's Marvel. Anyway, he loves Green Lantern, I love Batman. And he's also a musician. He's a really good guitar player. I jumped up on stage and sang a song with him at Culture Festival last year. So I really enjoy having Braden in my class. Yuna is in my class, and she's also in my higher level class. She's a delight to have in class. She always feels, maybe it's because she's so thin, she always feels so tall to me. Like she's the tallest person in the room, even though I'm taller than her. She's really, really funny. But she's serious. She works hard, and I'm helping her with her extended essay. And she's working hard on that. She should be. So it's great to help someone sort of mold this thing that has to be 4,000 words long into something. Ellie is really fun. She's another student that her and Yui are both sort of like, their English is a little less, not much, but a little less than maybe some of the other students, but they make up for it. They're both so cheerful and happy. They both love to dance. They just, great humor out of both of them. I make fun of them a little bit sometimes when they can't remember something about history, but they both take it really well. Kino is probably, I don't think anybody would argue, probably the best student in the class, but she is not, tight or, wound up or stressed out or anything. She's also very cheerful, super polite, sweet girl. And she's also in my higher level class along with Braden. So I have three of them that take like extra history, and they have to take an extra test, which in the IB for HL is a 2.5 hour 3 essay test. And it's a killer. So good luck to them. And then lastly, I have Nina and Yumiko. Nina and Yumiko are kind of the two sort of, I would say, most Western students in my class. They both love, Western TV shows. And I don't know if Yumiko's ever lived in America, but it feels like she has. She really is conversant in American pop culture. They both love, American music. And we talk about American movies from time to time, and yeah, so I always joke that Nina looks like a particular person on one of these posters. She'll know who I'm talking about. In a Star Wars movie, she has a similar face as this famous actress. I think she doesn't think so, but I think she looks a lot like her. And Yumiko, again, she's always the one. There's always that one student who, it's so nice because whenever you send out an email to students, they almost never respond. They're, if they read it, they're just too busy. But Yumiko always responds, "Oh, thank you, Mr. Harris," or, whatever. And it's just, it's nice to have that one person in the class that always does that. But overall, they're a wonderful class. I've taught them since they were ninth graders. And yeah, I'll be very sad when they graduate. They are a crazy class. They keep me on my toes. I teach them 4 hours every week, and I really do chat with them a lot, and I will miss them when they are gone. The 11 IBs are an interesting class. So the 11s had a bigger class, and then sometimes when the kids graduate ninth grade and they go to 10th grade, some of the kids will go off and go to different high schools. They don't want to do the IB program or whatever. So we lost a few kids that we thought would maybe continue on, or they just realized at that point, I don't know if I'm really, cut out for the IB. The IB is really rigorous, and so we lost a few, but then we gained a few new students, and that's fun. So it's students that we didn't know, they joined the school in 10th grade, and we got lucky. Both of the girls that joined the class are fantastic. So in that class, again, we only have one boy, and that's Takahiro. And I'm always smiling when I say, if another teacher watches this, they'll know why I'm smiling. Takahiro is a unique guy. He has lived in America. He's not Japanese, but he's completely conversant in Japanese and everything. He's very tall. Maybe even taller than me. We should find out. I think we have measured before, and he might be a centimeter or two taller. I'm 6 foot. I say 181 centimeters. So he might be right there, 6'1" or 5'11", somewhere right in there. So taller than most of the other boys in a Japanese school. And but that alone isn't the reason why he sticks out. It's because he just never stops talking. And he has an opinion about everything, and he's always trying to crack a joke and make people laugh. And there's a certain amount of that's great to have that energy in class, and then there's other times you're like, come on, dude, we gotta study, but I actually, this year, I'll probably get to know him better this year than ever before, because he is the only student of the 5 in the 11th grade year that signed up for my IB program, HL class. So it's just me and him, one-on-one, 1 hour every week. And we decided not to do the course that they did last year, which was sort of Asia and Oceania, and we're going to do America, history of the Americas, and we're doing modern American history, all of America during World War II, so Canada, Mexico, and of course the United States. We're doing the Civil Rights era, and then we're doing the Cold War. So it's interesting, new topics for me to learn about, to teach. And he is game for it, so we're having a good time in that class. The two newer students in the 11th grade year class that joined when they were 10th graders are Seion and Hinano, and they both came from other places to where we are in Japan. Hinano came from Okinawa, which is a very different style of Japanese culture, but she's fitting in well, and she's just the sweetest person ever. I can't even tell you how kind and nice she is. Seion is very serious and quiet, but I enjoy every now and then making her smile, and she has a fun sense of humor, and I thought she was kind of maybe having fun with me the other day, because I asked her what she wanted to be when she grew up, and she said she wanted to make cheese. And I couldn't help but laugh, and I didn't want to because maybe she's serious. I think she's a little serious. I think she wants to do something culinary, and she was just saying that to see maybe what my reaction would be. But she used to live in Singapore, and her English is very good, and very, hardworking, serious student. Great to have in class. Then you've got the two students who I've known the longest, because Takahiro also joined maybe in the middle of his 8th grade year. And so Yui and Yuiko I've known since the beginning of 8th grade, and they're now in 11th grade. Yui is a sweetheart as well. She's just such a cutie. She's the one that really enjoys Western music. She's really getting into like old like R&B and stuff from listening to the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack. She is in the broadcast club, so she plays music sometimes while we do cleaning, and she'll play some interesting music then. She used to love One Direction, and we used to make fun of her for it. And she kind of has a sense of humor about it, because now obviously they're broken up. I think she still likes Harry. She loves, I think she loves Harry Potter. Yeah, she's the one in the class. So many of the kids love Harry Potter, but she's a real Harry Potter fan. And, just delightful. And then Yuiko is just one of those superstar students. You get those every now and then, and she is just a fantastic person, and then a really hard worker, a hard studier. She is like you could almost call it double majoring in sciences, so she's not taking art, so she can take biology and physics. And biology and physics in the IB program is a lot. So she's really gifted in that kind of logical science math area, but she hangs in there in my history class and is very interested, and she's constantly laughing at Takehiro's bad jokes, and it just makes for a wonderful atmosphere. I love chatting with them every day, and I get to teach them 4 hours a week, and I always look forward to my classes with them. They will become 12th graders in March, and then start their 12th grade year in April, and then I'll have one more year with them. Okay, and to wrap this up, the final, I can't believe how long this is. If you've watched till now, cheers, thank you, happy birthday to me and to you whenever your birthday is this year. The 10 IBs, the 10th graders that are 10th graders now, like I said, when they were brand new 7th graders when I started my job at this school, didn't kind of know what I was doing exactly. I had taught English in Japan exclusively for 10 years. 5 years in a university, 5 years as a JET ALT, and now I'm going to a school where I finally get to teach, what my degree is in, which is history. I graduated with a degree in American history and a minor in Japanese studies. And so I was getting to teach social studies, and of course I have to teach the occasional English class. That was fine. So in 7th grade, I got to teach them, and we had another boy in the class at the very beginning. His name was GA, and he was a firecracker. And unfortunately, after a year, he had, his parents moved, and he moved away. He's come back, for special events, and we've seen him a couple times, but we were hoping he would come back for 10th grade and start with our high school, but it didn't work out. So it was a very lively class, his personality compared to just these two girls, because they were the only three in like the upper, fluent English level class that I would teach. And then we had a boy named Koki join the class, and he had lived in China, and so his English was pretty good, not as good as the rest of the class. And then after 9th grade, he decided not to pursue the IB program because his English wasn't quite good enough. You have to write a lot of essays and stuff in the IB. So Koki's no longer in the class. GA moved away. So it was just down to Nene and Yurara, the two girls, and they entered 10th grade. And then we did, like I said, we get new students. So we got a new student named Shiki, and Shiki is a boy, so he's the one boy in that class. And he's got a tough, it's a tough, you're thrown into a class with only two other students who've known each other. Yurara and Nene have known each other since elementary school. so there's a bond there, and they're two girls in a very gender segregated society like Japan is at times, and so he's got a tough road. And I've only known him for what, April, May, June, July. I've known him for about 3.5 months. So, but he's a delight. You know, he's a lot of fun. He takes the jokes we make. He deals with those two crazy girls all day. So I got to give props to Shiki. I hope that he enjoys my class, and I don't think he's going to take HL history though next year. I might have a year where I don't have an HL because there's only 3 students, and I don't know if any of them love history that much that want to take extra. So that comes down to Nene and Urara. Nene and Urara, you know, I joked with them, I think when they were in 7th grade, when I first started working here, and I said, you know what, guys, I'm going to teach here until you guys graduate, until 2022. And they both kind of laughed, and, you know, now it's been 4 years. And I think I'm going to keep that promise. I've got to teach them every year, and I was their homeroom teacher last year when they were 9th graders and they were graduating from junior high school. Even though they stay at the same school, we still have a graduation for them and stuff. And it's a big deal. And I was their homeroom teacher for a year, and that was a special privilege. And so I saw them every day, in the morning, in the afternoon, you know. And now I'll just be their history teacher in high school. But yeah, they are two very special girls. They just are both so funny, and I love talking to them. One of them is addicted to a J-pop group called King and Prince, and so we talk about that. I don't really know much about them. Urara is a fantastic tennis player. She's on the tennis team and often goes off and wins tournaments. And Nene is a very good pianist. So it's a delight to hear her play sometimes at events for the school. She'll play the piano. And yeah, I just I love them both to death. And again, you know, it's just fun watching them grow up and become young people, and where they want to go in their lives, etc., etc., and how they want to use English in their careers, etc. And yeah, so those are the main students. There are not many of them, but they are my kind of constant weekly companions, for lack of a better word. And they are really the reason that I love what I do. I love teaching about history, but I love teaching these students. And I hope I continue to get great students like this as they come up. I don't really know the junior high students as much. That's changing a little bit. I'm teaching 7th grade social studies this year for the first time. So they're having me instead of a Japanese teacher. And so I'm getting to know the new 7th graders quite a bit too. But yeah, this is a special group that's in the high school now. And I just wanted to say, you know, like I said, you know, I don't have a lot of people to talk to in my life, but I get to talk to them every week. And I couldn't ask for a better group to have a chat with Monday through Friday. So cheers to you guys. Thank you so much for being good students. And